Chaos, chaos, chaos. Welcome back to another video, and in this video I'll be going through my trades and my VC and captaincy for AFL Fantasy Round 11 in a season that I've pretty much all but given up already. I know it's pretty early in the season, so I'm just doing those sort of wacky trades that are probably not going to actually work out. Go figure. So yeah, that's sort of my thought process at the moment, and just trying to see if I can get sort of one or two guys here that are very, very undervalued and stuff. I have looked at different sets of trades, and there is I'll go through it as well. There is sort of two sets of trades that I am looking at in particular with and sort of just scoping them out and just trying to think if holding the two injured guys in Horne-Francis and McRae is actually good, or trading them out is better. So anyway, before we jump into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into this video. So here were the first set of trades, in that of Angus Clark and Shea Bolton for Bice and Camporelli. I don't really like going early on rookies like Angus Clark because he could just become a red dot and then that would pretty much stuff me over. But I do have the luxury of James Leake, which does mean that if he was to not score a good enough score, then I can, and he wouldn't be the best scorer, or would he be sub or something like that, I could just put Carroll in over him, etc. So I do have that luxury. And then Bolton obviously wouldn't be captain, but he'd come in and it'd shore up a lot of this, I guess, this line here and make it a little bit stronger with obviously Horne-Francis and McRae out. But then if Bolton comes in, then I effectively have a forward line completely sorted. I mean, I could do this as well and just make it look a little bit stronger with Isaac Rankin in there. So I would be starting to get sort of forwards instead of midfielders, which isn't the best combination. I would be falling a little bit short there. As you see, I would have, but yeah, over the long run, I'd start to have, well, it'd be Levi Ashcroft at, Levi Ashcroft at the likes of an M6, and then Bolton M7, Lindsay M8, and then I'd have Carroll at Carroll or Clark at D6. So there is a little bit of room and scope there. But then in the long run, when McRae and Horne-Francis come back, then it would probably mean that I'm down to, well, it'd mean in that case that I'm down to 3 rookies on field at this point if they weren't injured. So yeah, there is that option. So I'm pretty sure I won't end up going with that option. I'm pretty sure I'll end up going something like Bice and also the likes of Horne-Francis out. I hope that Sheldrick isn't dropped, because I would like to go that. I would also have liked to have gone Sardar Hooley. But if we go to here and we just put in a midfielder, and we can just do these swaps now. If we go here, and then we also go the likes of Levi Ashcroft to there, then we go and we grab up, I can pretty much afford anyone, but the problem is when you want an actual sort of, if we go here and go to break even, and then we grab up anyone here, there isn't really anyone that I like. If Sheldrick was like 430k or so, he would be so much more valuable than 442. Just because he gets under, as well as if Horne-Francis hadn't dropped 74k for his effort, as well as Bice dropping 13k, so he didn't drop too much. So a lot of guys there that are just a little bit annoying. But the one thing I can do is I can go for Sheldrick, because I do think he does have a breakout game potential, but I also think he could be sub, so why not go for him? Because 2 wrongs make a right, don't they? And then also that leaves me with 1.058 million. And then I can basically get anyone here that I like out of these guys. And it would probably be like a Green or something like that, who does have Carlton. He hasn't been performing necessarily the best, but I do think he does have a really good and kindish run coming up. If we look at the next sort of 3-4 weeks for defense first position, if we go like that, as well as just grabbing up so if we go inside mid to the last little bit, Essendon, Geelong, Melbourne are the best run here. Essendon, they've got Richmond, basically you'd be going Tim Taranto or nothing. And I don't really like Tim Taranto. Geelong have, who did Geelong have here? 1 second, let me grab up Geelong. They have got Western Bulldogs. I don't really like grabbing up a round 12 bye guy at the moment, so don't go there. Melbourne have got Sydney, Sheldrick. There you go. And also you could be looking at a potentially like a You could also be looking at a Heaney potentially. But if we just go the next sort of 5 or 6 rounds and go inside mids, the next 5 or 6 rounds here, you'll see that the numbers sort of point towards a Carlton or an Essendon or a Gold Coast here as well. Gold Coast are very sort of prominent here. If we go here and then go by, you can see Gold Coast again pop up. So Gold Coast could be a really good actual team to target. If we look at Gold Coast inside mids or clubs, Gold Coast, look at them. You'll see that Matt Rowell's at 708, at 808k. He just hasn't really hit the heights of what he did earlier in the year. But yeah, he's been all right in the sort of long run. Should be all right in the long run, you would expect. Given that, what did he average last year? Because I thought he averaged 93 last year, and the year before that averaged 92. So there is some scope for him to definitely improve and pick up his game again. But I just don't know if I can necessarily see it too much there, to be honest with you. But he does have a pretty good run coming up. You've also got Anderson and Miller there as potentials. Then we look at other guys. Gold Coast themselves, they do play the likes of St Kilda, so you could go like a Jack Steele. If we look in the long run, though, St Kilda do have a minus 0.74, which is basically on the basis of post-buy. They have a tough run. So yeah, if we just extend this out just a fraction bit longer to encompass those games, you see Collingwood actually have a really good run. Essendon as well have a decent run and a decent buy. So I could get a Merit and just cop the sort of little bit that he's going to drop as well. And that could actually be a decent option. I don't know about the likes of, if we go to designated kickers, because Essendon could do this. They could move a Nick Martin sort of down back or more down back behind the ball. And then if we look at that, Essendon 0.65, you've also got Western Bulldogs at 3.78. So that could lend to like a Bailey Dale bounce, another game from Bailey Dale. But then again, I don't want to pick up a round 12 buy guy because they have the round 12 buy soon. Sydney as well, so holding Roberts could actually be a really good option this week for those people that are looking at trading him out. And then you've got Collingwood again. Collingwood don't really have a Desi kicker. And then you've got Gold Coast. That could be like a Noble type of play there, who is currently 948k. So if I'm actually looking at it, I think Merritt is one that's definitely come under fire recently. And if we look at his numbers over the last little bit, I just think that he could be a guy that really just picks it up in the back half of the year. I know he's got a 152 break even, but he's got Richmond. This could be a potential VC matchup as well. So I'm actually going to do it. I know it sounds so dumb to trade in Merritt now after he's dropped, he's got a 152 break even, but I just think matchup based against Richmond, he's going to go really, really huge. If we look at his stats against Richmond in the past, he's gone 110 against them in the past. If we look at this and we go to also grab up the likes of a Merritt, I'm pretty sure his last couple of games against Richmond have been pretty big, but I will just double check that. Because he could go 140 and suddenly he's just a guy that you almost need to target next week as well. But a 140 could be huge just having that score on the board. If we go to, and we just search this up, Richmond here, it should be that, I think. Yep. If we just go down here to Richmond, in the last game against them, he went 109. In the game before that, he went 158. And then in the game before that, he went 125. And the game before that, 105. And the game before that, 112. And the game before that, 125. So his last 6 or so games against them, including one in the bubble, in the round, in the 2020 season, where he went at 1.71 points per minute, which are 1.71 points per minute. I'm just going to try and find something similar, is around about a 160 score. So you can basically add about 40 points onto this. Divide it by 7 is about 6 more points per game. In the last 7 games against them, adjusted for shortened quarters, he averages about 127, 128 against them. You can even go back down and look at these and look at this, and then you suddenly have 10 games, the last 10 games against them, he's still averaging, if you look at that with the adjusting for the quarters, he's still averaging 118. So 118 in the last 10 games with a lot of down and up games, and then you can even expand it further. And he's suddenly, before basically becoming he probably was a full-time mid at that point. But yeah, basically going back the last 8 years, if you look at his games against Richmond, he's averaging effectively about 121 or so. 121 in the last 12 games against Richmond, adjusted for scoring. I think he could be the like a VC option this week. And that's why I think in everything said and done, I think I'm going to go Zach Merritt, which sounds so dumb to do. But I think he's going to put, if we look at this compared to Jason Horne-Francis, he's going to put 30 points per game on him for the rest of the year, potentially, or 25 points on him for the rest of the year. If we look at it's about 20 at the moment, but I think that will hold through 20 points per game at least, will hold through both that. And then you've got Angus Sheldrick versus Bice, which honestly could be roughly even if all things said and done, because Bice might go 70s, but Angus Sheldrick might go 70, 80 as well. And I just want to enjoy my team as well and want to have some fun. And this could obviously go massively wrong. But if Sheldrick plays for the next like 2-3 weeks, if we go back to here, for the next 2-3 weeks of Angus Sheldrick playing and actually scoring, let's just put 80s. If I go here to pricing projector and then go down and type in Sheldrick here, and we look at his, let me just grab it so that he's the only one there. And we look at him, say, scoring an 80, because he was on like 60 at halftime. But if he scores 80 for the next 3 weeks, he goes up 47, 55, 54K. I know there is massive concern with Callum Mills coming back, but I sort of want to have fun. But yeah, if he scores 80s, then that means he goes up 47, 55, 54K. And we'll probably know by Friday night anyway if Sheldrick is the sub or not, depending on who they have in the depending on who they have, as well as I could probably try and get inside word on that. But if Sheldrick goes at 80 for the next 3 weeks, he goes up 150K. If he goes 85 for the next 3 weeks, basically until their bye, he goes up 170K. And a 616 guy also, or even something like that, and even just say he has a spike game in here of a 100, suddenly that's 634K. If you have 100K spare with 3 trades, you should be able to basically get him alongside, well, easily alongside 2 other rookies to mid-season draftees at 230, 240K, and also a premium, which will in the midfield. You could potentially get him to like a Bontempelli or a Butters post their bye, which would be absolutely huge and mega. So that's why I'm sort of doing it and just hoping for the best, having some fun. If Sheldrick does go out and score a big score, which he's threatened to do, I don't know what exactly he was. Let's actually check his quarter-by-quarter scoring, because I'm pretty sure he was on 55 at halftime in the game here. If we toggle quarter-by-quarter, he was on 62 at halftime. If they are winning convincingly in the game and let him actually play out the game, then there's a chance that he goes and scores a 100 or a 110 or something dumb like that, potentially goes even bigger. And if he does that, my golly gosh, is he going to be like, he's going to go up in price. Let's just project that this game here, he goes a 120. Let's just project that. And then this game here, he goes back to scoring 80 and then an 85. He's suddenly 659K, something like that. So yeah, I could easily see him doing something like that and say he scores a flat 100 here, 672K. That would be huge. So yeah, I'm looking at Angus Sheldrick and going, I want to have some fun. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then obviously that sucks. But I just want to have some fun with it. I think he also could be a guy that if he isn't sub, he's going to be one of the best scorers. The points per minute suggests that even when he's sub, he just racks the ball up. He scored 50s in like a quarter and stuff like that. So like, or something like that. Let's just go to here and go to Sheldrick here. If we look at that, he scored 51 in what was it? 33% TOG. You can see there. And then he's also scored 19 in half a quarter. He's also scored a 65 in basically, what's that? About half game time there. And then he scored a 51 in the whole last quarter. The whole last quarter he played against North and he scored a 51. So he's done 50-point quarters before. That's absolutely mega. And you can see here as well, he's done like 12, 15 points from basically half a quarter. So his quarter stats are actually really, really good. He just needs full games. And so, yeah, we'll hopefully see him on ball. And yeah, that's just my hope there. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm sort of just running with it because I'm so far behind the curve. But anyway, that is the video there. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on. If you're listening on Spotify, give me a follow and a rating over there. And I will see you guys in the Supercoach team reveal later. Bye, guys.